Hey Flosstube, I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle. I know it is Thursday. I think it is January 21st. And I've got stitching to share with you, which is happy because I have done more stitching than I've done in a long time. So at least I can say that is right with this world. Last time I told you I was starting first evening in their own home for the Riola Sal. And since my last Flosstube update, I have done all of this. This is the folds of her dress, and it's one of those perfect just one more stitch, just one more strand of floss projects. I'm struggling with all the extra fabric up here. I think I have a bigger set of Q-snaps. I think I'm going to add longer legs to this just to stretch it out a bit. But I am having fun with this. I am loving it. And because this is not much to picture in your head, that is what it will be when it is done. Current favorite project. I love it. I've also made more progress on Just One More Page. This is the one that Amy from Amityville and I are selling. Just One More Page. It is Night Spirit Studio, a freebie on their website, and I'll put a link in the description below. This has mistakes. I didn't grid my fabric because I shouldn't need to grid my fabric for this, and actually the pattern does not have grid lines, so it's not something you would grid for, except I made a mistake down here, and then the mistake, because by the time I found it, it was too late to frog it. So yeah, the mistakes have just kind of built upon one another, but it's good enough. I like it. And Amy, thank you so much for messaging me and asking me if I wanted to sell this one, because I would have had that printout in my stash for years and never gotten around to it. And I love this. Like I said, I am doing so much stitching and having so much fun with it. And I've done some more on my cheese. This is Dutch Still Life, also a realist kit. I've been playing with leaves this morning up over in here. This one is Fiddly. I love it. It is worth all the Fiddly, but I haven't had as much patience as I would like for the Fiddly. And that is my stitching. I have not picked up my knitting. Like I said, I've done a lot more stitching than I've done in a long time. The day that I did that Knitting with Migraines video, I was on, I think, day 2 of a pesky, annoying headache. Well, that stretched out into day 4 when it became a full-blown migraine with auras, and I had to call my daughter to drive her brother to work. And it was just... Can you jinx yourself into those? Although, if you can, I mean, as soon as mine was gone, my mom, who was 100 miles away, got one of her own. I hate migraines. And no, I did not stitch or do anything while I had that going on. I wound up on that last night laying on the couch with a quilt and my eyes closed, listening to YouTube videos that had been in my watch later list that did not need eyeballs on them. Because that does personally help me. I've been doing better at keeping track of things in my planner and marking down which days I stitched on which projects and other stuff I need to mark down. So that is my big accomplishment so far this year. Still getting used to the new schedule, which you would think I would be used to it by now, but things keep changing just a bit, just enough to keep me on my toes. Now I think I'm going to have to find a new laundromat because half the machines are broken and they aren't fixing them. Some of them have been broken for 8 months. And I don't know where I'm going to find another laundromat, and I don't want to go looking. And yeah, there's that. That's stupid, I know. I found a new YouTube channel I like. It's called Second Empire Strikes Back. He bought a very dilapidated old Second Empire Victorian, and I think it was in one of my Flossoween videos that I talked about Victorian houses and how much I love Second Empire. And so some of the videos, he did one about the history of the people who built the house, and it was not nearly as good as the one where he did the first walkthrough, because he shows all the little details and how they had repaired the hardwood floors with the lids of tin cans that they had just hammered down into place. It's really interesting. I love old houses. I did a video about my friend Jo Kramer's book, and I meant to talk about her crumb quilts and totally forgot. I will put a link to the pages on her blog. She does these amazing crumb quilts with itty bitty scraps, and did a quilt along a few years back. She's done so many of them, it makes my head spin. And if that is the thing that floats your boat, go look at them. They are amazing. Someday I am going to make one, but not today. And also Riolis, on their Instagram feed and on their Twitter account, they have been doing designer interviews, which are just a couple questions at a time, and they are really interesting. I did not realize that I have favorite Riolis designers. And I have lost my piece of paper already, because I'm like that. Alexandra Gusarova. She designed this one. She designed my cheese. She designed the hedgehogs with lingonberries and the one with the octopus and quite a few other things I have in my stash. So I've been intrigued to read their answers to the questions and see who designed what. And then, of course, I see the other things they've designed, and my wish list is going to grow far, far longer than it was. Riolis sent me a catalog, which I forgot to bring over here, when they sent the Distant Shores for the review and unboxing. And I swear I am like a little kid with, remember how, I can't remember if it was Montgomery Ward's or Sears used to have the big catalogs, and they had the toy section in the back, and I would go through and just circle everything that looked interesting. I had no delusion that I was going to get all of the things I circled or any of the things I circled. It was just fun to look at the possibilities. And I have been looking at the possibilities of Riolis kits, and I love that the catalog, they mark the kits that are in their last season, which I like, because just in the few years that I have been stitching Riolis kits, there are a lot of things I love that have come and gone and I missed. And I am not the kind of stitcher who goes and stocks unicorn charts on eBay with a big budget, so either I will stumble across them someday or I won't, and the world will keep turning and it will be fine. But I'm definitely feeling better about my decision to collect the kits I love when I can, and worry about later about when I'm going to find and carve out the time to stitch them, because especially if they're not super expensive kits, it's insurance for the future. We may be going into a year when I'm going to do a lot of stitching from stash. I did a lot of stitching from stash last year, and I've had previous years that were mostly that, so I very much appreciate having a stash that I can pull from and new projects that I can start on a whim, because that's how my mind works. And that, I think, is my list. This is a really short update. I've been thrifting. There was nothing to see. I have been stitching on those 3 projects, and that's what I've done. And I've got some other stuff I want to get working on, but I haven't worked on it yet. And I will be back soon with more stuff. Thank you for watching, and let me know, how is your new year going? Are we better in any ways than last year? As far as stitching and keeping track of what I'm doing great. The rest of it, no, not so much. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.